You saw this beautiful woman. She is over 70 years old, and today we are going to show you how she used the simple method and the verdant code to get results. So, first, the leave-in conditioner that I am using is Silk Synthesis from Simple Apothecary. So, check the link in the description box below, as well as a pinned comment for the video here on YouTube that goes even deeper into silk synthesis, but it's already been applied. Make sure you check part 1 to see the process, the scalp exfoliation, and all of the things. Right now we are combing the leave-in conditioner through her previously detangled hair, right? And as I do this, I am also parting off her hair in 4 sections so we can blow dry it. Now, one thing that I want you to pay attention to is the fact that her hair is not dripping wet. Her hair is not overly saturated in product. And right now, as you look at her hair, the only thing that you're able to actually see is her hair. You can't see silk synthesis. Why? Well, it's actually within her hair shaft already, not just sitting on top, but within the cortex of the hair shaft. So now we will begin to set the hydrogen bond. After all, there are 3 bonds that hold your hair together: the salt bond that is broken by highly acidic products, the disulfide bond, which is the bond that you break with chemicals or using heat the wrong way, which we will not do, and the hydrogen bond that is temporarily broken by water. So right now we are setting the hydrogen bond in her hair with the help of silk synthesis to not only put a protective barrier on her hair until the hydrogen bond is broken again, but is going within the cortex of the hair shaft to fill in those gaps and spaces that could be causing the hair to break during its weakness of styling and manipulation. So again, if you want more information, check the description box in the pinned comment. But I also want you to pay attention to the round brush, right? Pay attention to the round brush as I'm doing her hair, and notice that there is none of her hair in the round brush. This is not only because of silk synthesis, but because of the routines and patterns that I've been following for hair for decades now. And it doesn't matter the texture or the length of your hair, because curly hair, straight hair, wavy hair, and extremely curly hair can all use the same tools, but they must be used differently and with technique, right? And with intention for each texture. So again, what we are doing right now is using tension. Remember, I taught you the difference between tension and friction when we were talking about the Revere air blow dryer. Remember, I told you that this is using controlled tension with my hand, right? And with this brush and with this blow dryer, I am controlling the amount of tension that we use to her hair, that we are using on her hair. But see, the difference when we are talking about tension and friction, when we are talking about suction, not friction, I'm sorry. When we're talking about suction versus tension, with suction, you have no control, right? With the Revere air blow dryer, there is absolutely no control, but we have all of the control and all of the power when we use a round brush or a paddle brush or just a handheld blow dryer. So the key will be learning how to use it properly. So again, speaking of that, all of the members inside of the Growth Cycle Blueprint, make sure you go and check all of the updates, because you have updated round brush tutorials. So make sure you go in there and check, because you have so many new videos on how to properly blow dry the hair. So again, if you have not signed up, then make sure you check the link in the description box below. And if you joined before but you haven't completed the course and you haven't signed in on the new site, then make sure you email me and say, hey Zan, I already joined the blueprint or the 7-day challenge before, and here is my receipt, here is my proof of purchase. Can you send me the code so I can get in on the new site? And I'll do that, right? But without your receipt and without proof of purchase, there's nothing I can do. And again, if you haven't joined already, check the links in the description box below. And I have a video showing you exactly how to do this. I show you on a mannequin and I show you on my hair. Well, when I had some. So make sure you head over and check that out. Links in the description box. So as we move along, right, and as I begin to round brush her hair again, I want you to pay attention to the amount of hair that is within my brush. Because when you look at the amount of hair within my brush, and then you look at, let's see, the vents that you have to comb out when you use something else, or the way that you have to comb all of the hair out of your brush, I almost have none whatsoever within my brush during the blow drying process. So if your hair is breaking, if your hair is snapping, if you have a bunch of hair within your brush when you blow dry, you're doing it wrong. I can promise you that. And you don't have to believe me. This is going to be a long version because I did the least amount of editing as possible. Now, I am back behind the chair, but not in the way that I was before, right? I have clinical appointments. So the clients that I see have already been patients of mine, and we are at the mechanical step of the services that I provide, right? So when we are doing her hair, this service was not an hour. Her shampooing process, from her scalp detox to all of the things, like down to the deep conditioning treatment, right up before we blow dry her hair, is over an hour. So I know some of you are used to going to people who don't shampoo hair at all, or some people, they may give you a basic shampoo. And there's no problem with that, right? There's not an issue with that, because that may be what you booked, right? But the shampoo they'll give you will be like 10-15 minutes tops, and that is okay. That's not what I'm doing here, right? Because we are making sure that the scalp is verdant. What does that mean? Sustainable for life. Now, I just want to give you a little sidebar. As we move along, anytime we are on a portion of this video where the camera is just directly in her face, then I will blur it out, just because I don't want you all in her face, okay? And I just don't want people all in her face. You may see it pop up a little bit because graphics aren't perfect, but I just wanted to make that note. So as we are moving along, as you see us talking, again, this is a patient of mine, this is a client of mine, so we're not just randomly talking about TV, right? We are talking about action, right? And the intentions and the routines and patterns that we're putting together, what we will have moving forward, when our next, appointment's going to be, all of the things. Those are the things that we're talking about. So at some points you'll see me blur my face out too, but that's simply because you can read my lips. It's something she paid to know and you didn't. But anywho, at this point now, we are going back through her hair and blow drying the front portion. Now, this is a part where most people get really, really confused. This is a portion where most people are under the impression that you can skip this, right? You would take somebody's hair, put the conditioner, the leave-in conditioner in, sit them under the dryer for a minute, and then do this portion where, for me, it kind of works against the techniques and the patterns that I am using, because I want to be in control completely of setting the bond. So if the dryer sets the bond the majority of the way, and then I come back in your hair and try to maneuver a bond that has already been set, it works against my own professional technique. I'm not speaking on anybody else's. Do what you feel. I'm speaking of the simple way. Okay, but everything else is going to be pretty self-explanatory as we move along. But because this is my most recent hair video on somebody else within like 6 or 7 years. I'm not going to fast forward this one too much, not too much. Just want you to constantly get a visual of the round brush, because it's one thing for me to make video after video telling you things or saying things to you, but it's a completely different experience when you're able to see it with your own eyes for yourself, up close and personal. Now, in the past, there were times where she had some balding spots or some spots that were thinner, and that hair has begun to grow back. And see, a lot of you have the same issue, but then you also have social media videos that tell you like, oh, if you see flyaways or any really, really short pieces, to cut that off. But I want you to, I have a question for you that I need you to answer for yourself within your mind's eye, right? Looking at how long her hair is, if she has new hair that begins to grow out, is the new hair that comes out of the pore, will it be the same exact length as the longest point of her hair, or will it be really short and stubby, kind of something that can resemble like frizzy hair? Yeah, it's gonna look like frizzy hair and parts that you would normally cut off, and that is where most people have their issues. It's not that your hair isn't growing, it's that the things that you're doing to rush and force the body to grow hair, actually it makes the new hair weakest. It makes it weaker and it makes it break before it ever gets to a length where you notice it, right? And these things are facts, and that is why she's been able to grow her hair out, and that is why her density is increasing, and that is why it will continue to increase. And I will let you guys be a part of it. You will be able to see it, not being able to be all in her face, but you will be able to see her density increase as she deducts the practices of old. Now, one thing that I really wanted to talk about is, most of the time when I make videos here on YouTube and I'm like, oh, don't do this in your hair, don't do that, most people have a attitude about it, or they're like, oh, it's working for me now, but and if my hair falls out later in 30, even if everything's working for you right now and you're 24 or 25, or even if everything is working for you right now and you're in your early to mid 30s, or hell, maybe you've been doing it for so long and you in your 50, this goddess right here is in her 70s, in her early 70s, and a woman in her early 70s still wants beautiful, thick and full hair. But see, one of the issues and the problems that we have, most of the patterns and routines that people follow put them in a position where they're going to have extreme breakage throughout the years. This, of course, is something that doesn't pop up right away, so most people aren't concerned about it. Most people don't think twice about it. And for this reason, you follow the same patterns and routines over and over and over again. And then one day you pop up, your hair is thinning, balding, and falling out, and you don't understand why. No matter what products you use, they don't work. And every 5 minutes, there's a new product, and you go out to try it. You don't know why. Well, it's because the scalp is not verdant. And I understand that sometimes sometimes my personality can be a lot for you to handle, but I need you guys to understand that the majority of my clientele is between the ages of 45 and about 80 years old. My husband's auntie lived to be 105 years old, and she had a full head of hair. So the belief that the things that you do that are bad now won't hunt you later is not true. The type of mentality that most women have across social media, like, I'll try the product today, and if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. I'll just try something again later. That mentality is the thing that creates the forms of balding that are irreversible. Because there is a such thing as you having balding that occurs that you're not able to get rid of. That's a thing. It really is. And initially, she told me that she used to have some of those old bad habits and routines, like not combing your hair, only using your hands to detangle. She was honest enough, right, and accountable enough. Clearly she's old enough to be my mother, but her heart and her mind was open enough to learn things that she didn't know and not be combative, right? And by her making those changes, those follicles that were once dormant are now active in her 70s. So again, if you are a person who's been coming across my videos for a long time, like, oh, she don't know what she's talking about, whatever, it's been working for me for this amount of time, so I'm not gonna stop. Everything works until it doesn't. Okay, everything works until it doesn't. And I remember at the beginning of my career, I was so passionate about making sure that every woman that looked like me hair looked like hers, if that's what they wanted by the time that they got to her age, or just in general walking around, if that was her desire. I understand that every woman does not want long hair, because Lord, I am one of those women. The longer my hair got, the more uncomfortable I was, because I prefer myself with short hair. But that does not mean that I have not mastered patterns and routines that help women that look like me begin to master their hair growth cycles. And is my focus only to women that look like me? Absolutely not. But women who look like me were the ones that were having the hardest time grasping this, right? But now that I've laid down a foundation that you can see and follow yourself, I love you so much, but I'm moving on, and I'm here for everybody, for all groups, right? Because you've seen it and you understand that if you follow the proper patterns and routines, you can get to the places that you need to be. So at this point, her hair has already been completely shampooed. Her scalp has been detoxed. Her follicle has been stimulated. Blood flow to her scalp has been stimulated. And now we are simply straightening her hair and prepping her hair for a trim, because yeah, I could say, oh, I can kind of see her ends and give her a trim right now, but it won't be that great. It won't, because I won't be able to see everything. I'll only be able to see small bits and pieces, but her hair shaft is still pretty swollen. So I will straighten her hair so we can see the true essence of her ends. That is it, and that is all. So I don't really have too much to say as it pertains to this part, but I do want you to pay attention to her hair shaft and the way that her hair looks. I want you to pay attention to the fact that there is not a lot of oil, a lot of products. When we are flat ironing hair, when we are using heat tools, the fastest way to get heat damage is to layer the hair in product. But most people across social media believe that if you want to avoid heat damage, you have to add a lot of products. No, my love. Because when you add too many products, whatever doesn't absorb into the hair shaft, what does it do? It just sits on top of it. And if it's just sitting on top of the hair shaft, then you know what's going on? What's going on is it's just going to be cooked. It's just going to fry. It's going to heat up. It's going to get roasted. by those flat irons, right? But if you are allowing that to be something that happens, that's what gives you the heat damage. Because if you have your flat iron, let's say on 350, you set your oven to 350. So you have a flat iron that's set to 350 degrees, and you have oil with a high smoke point on it, and then you put the flat iron to it. What's going to happen? You're going to cook your hair outside of the cuticle and inside of the cuticle. So pay attention to the fact that the only thing that I put on her hair was silk synthesis. That's it. And she has heat protected from biosilk on her hair. That's it, and that's all. I'm spraying absolutely nothing else. And you know something that's funny, even once we finish, I didn't put an additional serum on her hair. I did not, because she didn't need it. So oils, butters, greases serve no purpose in a appointment like this. No purpose whatsoever. It's no reason for it to be here whatsoever. And loading up with a whole bunch of products, it makes no sense. So if you're watching this right now and you see silk synthesis pop up on the screen, you're like, oh my god, it's expensive. But look at how much I used. You saw how much I used on her hair. Look at the shine in her hair, and you saw how much I used on just her hair. So imagine how long that one bottle is gonna last you with you only using a little bit, because that's all you need. And you can see the shine and the luster in her hair right now without all of those oils and creams and all of the things. These are the things that I want you to pay attention to. So as you go along and you think about weightless hair, when we're talking about weightless hair, this is what we're talking about. Hair that has movement, cuticles that are clean and clear, able to open and close whenever they want to, because they don't have a bunch of oils and butters and greases on. That is one of the main things that I want everybody to be cautious of and conscious of when we're talking about hair. When we're talking about doing hair, this here is leave-in heat protectant, of course, right? I'm not spraying the heat protectant on wet hair. I'm spraying the tools as I need them, right? When I watch videos here on YouTube and I watch women do their hair, they just get hair products and they're like, oh, my hair's wet. Let's get every hair product I have and I'm gonna just spray it on right now. Not understanding that your hair products are tools. So if you just take your thermal heat protectant and you spray the thermal heat protector on while your hair is wet, then what's going to protect your hair the most when it's in that state, when the hydrogen bond is no longer broken, right? Because when you put the heat protector on your hair when it was wet, that was for your hair when the hydrogen bond was broken. What are you going to use for heat protectant once the hydrogen bond is back closed? Because think about it. Most of the products that you put on your hair while your hair was wet, they were put on top of a open cuticle. So some of those ingredients got inside of the cuticle. So what are you going to do for the parts of the cuticle that don't have anything on it? This is why you use tools when they're supposed to be used. You use thermal heat protectant for thermal tools. Yeah, a blow dryer is considered a thermal tool, but can you burn your arm the same way with a blow dryer touching your skin as you can with a flat iron? Absolutely not. So it's two completely different things. When we're talking about silk synthesis acts as heat protectant for the blow dryer and a slight form of repellent of heat during the thermal process, but it is not meant to be a thermal heat protectant, so I do still add thermal tools. I also want you to pay attention to her hair as I'm combing it right now, even though it's pretty good for me to comb through because, like I said, she's been a client of mine. Even though this is my first time physically getting in her hair, we've had really good. I give really, really good consults. So she really, really knows exactly what to do to her hair, what not to do, and all of the things. So at this point, again, this is our maintenance. This is making sure we're caught up and up to speed with everything. And as you can see, her hair is doing really, really good. But again, still, all you've seen me add to her hair is silk synthesis for the blow drying process and a thermal heat protectant, right? Now, if she was getting, let's say, a roller set, let's say you're using silk synthesis for a roller set, the only products that you would be using at that point will be silk synthesis and a foam wrap. Like myself, I wear a short pixie, so for my hair, when I use silk synthesis, I'll spray that on my hair, silk synthesis on my hair, and then after that, I'll follow up with a foam wrap. And that's it. And then once my hair dries, then I'll go ahead with a thermal heat protectant, literally the same exact one from BioSilk. And then after that, my hair's done. It's literally that simple. It's the same thing for your hair. The more layers you put on your hair, the more products you put on your hair, the heavier and the more weighed down your hair is going to be. And that's just what it is. So if you want to decrease the stringiness, if you don't want your hair to be heavy, stop adding weight. What's weight? Hair products. Before I send you your silk synthesis, I put it on a scale and I have to make sure that everything is at the right weight. So if the product in the bottle has a weight to it, right? Why do you think that you're not adding additional weight to your hair when you use too many hair products, right? These are the things that I want you to think about. And I want you to understand, like, look, you guys can go buy whatever hair products you want. You can follow up behind whatever celebrity you want, because it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. They're gonna keep doing it. It's gonna keep happening. There's nothing I could do about it, right? But there's something that you can do to stop having yourself being taken advantage of, because Black women are always targeted as the group of people. Hey, look, put this on your hair and you can grow long hair like this. But in the next probably like 3 videos, because I have a couple more models that are coming up, I'm going to show you, model/clients, I'm going to show you that Black women can grow hair just as long without any magical hair products. Without any magical hair products. I know I've been telling you guys for a really, really long time, and I stepped from behind the chair because I wanted to focus on my practice where I didn't just have to talk about it, I can actually do it. So coming up soon, most of the people that you're going to see are patients of mine who are at the point of, okay, come on, let's get in and let's get some manual manipulation, because manual manipulation isn't always the thing that you should be doing when your hair shaft and your scalp is at a healing process, right? Or at in a regeneration phase. So I won't talk you to death. I'll be back in a second whenever we start styling or curling. Yeah. Now, up until this point, I've done the best that I could to like blur her face out and things of that nature, just because we don't want you all up in her face all while she's getting her hair done. But at this point, even though these curls are beautiful, I'm not really doing curls that are meant to stay in. If I was doing curls that were meant to be curls and stay in, then I would have used a different curling iron. But this is mainly just to maintain body. Now at this point, what I am doing is showing her how to control her flyaways at home on her own. Again, the videos that you will see, anytime you see a hair video like this moving forward here on my channel, this is a clinical appointment. They are not the same as the type of hair appointments that I've had on my channel previously in years that have passed, right? And if you are somebody who is interested in becoming a client of mine, then I also need you to understand that the appointments that people have with me now, they most of them use Sizzle to book me, or just different payment processing companies that you can use, like a get now, pay later. We have quite a few different options on my website. So even if you went on and booked a service, right, you can pay on that service every month. So these are things that I have made available, because I do understand that the services that I now provide are not going to be within the budget of the normal hair salon appointment that you have. And that's okay, because this is not a normal salon hair appointment. When you first met me, or not, because none of y'all really met me, but when you first heard of me and when you first started seeing hair videos here on my channel, they were regular hair salon appointments, right? Regular hair salon appointments. That is not what you see here. This is not what you see here. Now on my channel, when you see somebody sitting in my chair, I am giving you like an inside scoop into my clinical appointments with my clients, right? Most of the time, we have stages, right? We start off with, a certain consultation, figuring out their scalp's profile, all of the things. And then we go from that to setting up a pattern or a routine that they follow for a couple of months. And when the follicle begins to become more active again, as we're following certain patterns and routines, when they're ready for manipulation or any type of tension or whatsoever, then we begin booking appointments. Then we begin setting things up, right? So those are the type of appointments that I have now, and that is the way that I serve. I love you guys so much, but I understand, and I want you to understand, that I'm not for everybody. At one point, everything that I did, I made sure that I was accessible to and for and affordable for everybody. Like, no matter where you were, no matter your race, no matter how much money you made, I was affordable. It's not like that anymore. It's not. Okay? And that's okay. It's okay, right? But for the people who don't book with me, that's fine. What you can do, we have classes, we have courses, we have ebooks, we have products, right? We have herbs, tinctures. There's so many different things that you can do. And more so, you don't have to learn from me. You can just read. Focus on the science of the human body and how you can use that to get past all of the different things that you'll have, whether it's buildup in the scalp, whether it's balding, whether it's thinning, whatever those things may be. Within Simple Apothecary, I have created a system that not only helps you look good every day, right? Every 2 weeks, you're coming on a 2-week period. Oh, that's great. That's good. But I am creating a verdant environment where you are not only able to grow hair, but your scalp and your hair shaft have the type of environment where they can sustain growth. Your growth and your length is sustained. You're not constantly going from product to product, hairstyle to hairstyle, and it's something that lasts through time. Because right now, the systems and patterns that you're following are things that only last you for a couple of months, maybe for a couple of years. But I would imagine that the age that you're at right now, when you get to be in your 70s, I know I could only dream to have hair that looks like hers. If hair is something that you want, right? You could only dream right now. But what if you change your patterns and routines? What if you made the main focus of everything that you do, making sure that your scalp is a verdant environment that always sustains and maintains life? I'll see you on the next video. Brand new texture.